Welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. It's Tuesday, January the 13th. Welcome back. And tonight's episode is titled Custody, Cash, and Consequences. But before we get to the cases, let's see who's joining us tonight. This is one of the favorite parts of the show for me. Brian and Simone Adams. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming back and joining us on Celebrity Court. JP Mills, I feel like we're family already. Brenda O, YouTube, Brenda K.O., Thank you so much for joining. Pisces Unicorn. Oh, I'm getting used to seeing that name on a regular. Lady Aries 7797. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tracy Odom. Welcome back, Tracy. I hope everything is well. Charlene Lambert. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope everything's okay. Happy New Year, Charlene. Caramel 1977 Cancer couldn't be the show or be a show without you, Caramel. Thank you so much for joining. Essie Stone 5446. I feel like we're family. Did you get my Christmas card? If not, let me know. SL Warrior, welcome back. Daniel Cameron, where have you been? That's like a regular. I miss you. Tafia, did I get that right? 37.99. Welcome back, Tafia. I love your emojis. Sandra McGee, as always, thank you so much for joining. Kim Hayes, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Sharania. I don't know what that says. This is me, Sharaniaka. I don't know. Hello, all. Welcome. New York Mary, 1027 zip code, New York City. Welcome back. Mimi, Miss Monica to you. Thank you so much for joining. Rizan 11. Welcome. Cecilia Golden, welcome. Dominic Starr, hey, welcome back. Lewis 7074, and the list goes on and on. We have a full house tonight. And tonight we should, because it's going to be good. Yes, you heard me. Tonight on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, the cases are loud. The culture is divided by these cases, and the law is about to get tested. First up, we have a billionaire father says he wants full custody because the mother posted support for the transgender community. Really? Is that what we're doing? Second, we have an Atlanta rapper gets hit with a $40 million civil judgment tied to sex trafficking because he didn't even show up to defend himself. How crazy is that? Third, a Hollywood actor is facing a child sex abuse arrest warrant. And from my understanding, he just finally turned himself in 2 hours ago after the U.S. Marshals were hunting for him. And lastly, we're going to review a reality TV husband allegedly taking a default judgment for almost $400,000 off claims he never invested the people's money. Yep, that's Jennifer Williams, of Basketball Wives' husband. Now, remember, this is not a criminal court. This is the court of public opinion. And here, I bring the facts, the attorneys bring the law, and you, the viewers, are the jury. All right, don't forget the rules tonight. It's going to take your answers in the chat to decide who's convicted as guilty or not guilty at the end of the show. Because remember, you are the jurors in the court of public opinion. Court is officially in session. Let me introduce the legal beagles. We have Sean Carter, Shatan Turner, and Jason Weiss. Counselors, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Because I am not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so that's been good for me. Somebody might not be happy about that, but it made me a little money.
Your Honor, I think I'm going to have to leave the show because we're starting the show with some negative energy. I live down the street from the stadium. I am a fan, and I am still heartbroken. And then our coach quit.
I know. He's my fraternity brother. You know that. He's one of the most successful. He's one of the most successful coaches in NFL history. And guess what? He went to school in Virginia at William and Mary and pledged at William and Mary, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Much respect.
Oh, wait, Your Honor. Happy Founders Day to the Delta Sigma Theta sorority today.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Happy Founders Day to DST. And Jason, how was your weekend?
When I wasn't watching football, I was watching His and Hers. And if you're not watching this show on a Tuesday or Thursday night, I strongly recommend it. It was excellent.
Now, what show was that again?
It's called His and Hers.
Yes, I watched that. Oh, my goodness. It was fantastic. Oh, it was so good, Jason. You're so right. That show was off the chain. All of those who have not seen it, you need to watch that series on Netflix. So I'm telling you.
And stay till the very end because it was just wow.
You got, let me tell you, don't make the mistake I made. I cut it off after I thought the murder was solved. And I was like, okay. And then I put it on pause and went to the bathroom or something. But then I came back and it's a totally different reveal.
But don't give it up. Don't give it up. Don't give it up.
Watch it all the way to the end. All right, everybody, let's keep it going. We're starting with the case tonight that's already going viral before a judge even sees it. Elon Musk, yep, that's him, says he plans to file for full custody of the 1-year-old son he shares with influencer Ashley St. Clair. And he's saying this move is tied to her recent online post supporting the transgender community and apologizing for past remarks. Now, according to Tyler, Musk posted that he intended to seek full custody after claiming her statements implied she might, quote, transition a 1-year-old boy. Get out of here. Even though the article notes she hasn't said she would do that. So the culture is already screaming, is this parenting or punishment? Is this about a child or is this about his ideology? Now, the question here is, obviously, this is a family court matter, which means the standard is what's in the best interest of the child. And judges generally don't award custody based on political tweets. They award custody based on stability, caregiving, safety, and credibility. But this poor mother is up against a billionaire. So let's go to you first, Attorney Sean Carter, when we talk about custody 101. Now, when a parent like a billionaire like Elon Musk asks for full custody, what do they actually have to prove, especially if the argument is about the other parent's public speech online in some ridiculousness that she's trying to transition a 1-year-old?
Yeah, you have to prove that the child is in actual real danger. Not just, by the way, being infected by the woke virus is not a real danger. I know that, the current CDC thinks that that's an epidemic, but we need more science behind that. All right. And by the way, all she did, she didn't come out and say, hey, I'm going to transition that 1-year-old, which, by the way, this is the same 1-year-old who whooped Elon's butt in the White House. He might need some.
No. It's not the same one.
All right, good. I'm about to say that.
He's got so many kids we can't keep track.
That's a good point.
This is a new one. Sorry.
Okay. Fair enough, because that other boy needs some help. All right, but this boy, she didn't say anything. All she said was that I'm sorry I was transphobic in the past. I'm gonna do better, and somehow that's not a real risk to the child. So no judge in the world is gonna be like, okay, we got to take that child away because his mama got humility. We can't have that.
Right. Okay, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. You obviously are a resident female and mother on the panel. How much weight do the courts give to public conduct like post apologies, ideologies, when neither parent is alleging neglect? So he can't say that she's neglecting the son. Where's the legal term? Where is the legal line that we draw here between bad judgment and being unfit? And how does the court look at this?
This has become increasingly complicated in recent times because, one, her saying that she's going to do this, those are just words, right? Does she even have the ability to, and does saying that in and of itself indicate that she somehow poses a risk to this child? Elon knows better than anybody that one of the first things Trump did when he took office was to pass an executive order 14187 that prohibits minors from being transitioned before the age of 19. They can't get surgery and they can't get drugs to transition them. So I'm not really sure what the risk is that he thinks is going to happen, except for perhaps he's trying to allege that her ideology, as Attorney Carter said, that her wokeness is going to infect the spirit of this child and somehow lead them astray. I saw that you posted a picture of his other trans child. That child came up during a different time before the executive order actually was passed. But right now there's a whole lot of litigation going on that executive order, and it declares that it's unlawful to transition anybody under the age of 19. So I think Elon might need to take several seats.
Wow, that's a good one. Let's go to some of these comments before I throw to you, Jason. Afra Singh says, what an idiot. He's going to ask for custody because she supports Cowboys and he supports Packers. Like, down. Brenda K says, Elon Musk actually a human being. She said that just to get under his robot skin. SL Warrior says, that's the 6-year-old. Yes, that's the 6-year-old. That is not the one that we're talking about. Sandra McGee says she started watching his or her. SL Warrior said his mom is a human and he's a bot. So PJ, danger would be letting Elon parent anyone. I would agree with that. Rizlan 11 says that's because Elon is traumatized by his son. That's right. I think we have a picture of his transgender son. Can we see that, Bailiff? Can we see that transgender son picture?
Or daughter?
Yeah, daughter. Sorry.
Your child.
All right. And Sandra McGee says Elon is absolutely cray-cray. All right. Before we wrap this up, let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. Let's talk strategy. All right. If a parent announces custody plans publicly like Elon has done before they even file, does that help or can it backfire as intimidation or reputational warfare?
I think anytime you put something out there saying that this is what you're going to do, that's just dumb. Like, you're showing your cards. Either do it or don't do it. I mean, maybe he did this so that, she would react differently. Maybe she would do something and get out of line. Maybe she would get bent out of shape. But her best defense is just keep being a great parent, keep doing what you're doing, and keep him away from your kid and go about your way, and don't be intimidated by the billionaire. And if you need an attorney, I'm sure Attorney Carter will help you out.
For counselors, all I hear here is he's trying to control her. He's trying to control how she speaks, what she says, and all of that stuff. Because the scary part isn't a custody filing. It's people file custody every day, right? The scary part is that if she doesn't change her views of how she wants to raise her own child, he will rip her of the ability to raise a child and take all financial support. That's what I hear in this. Is that what you guys hear?
I didn't even. It's not unusual, right? Parents fight over a variety of things all the time. Parents fight over what religion to raise the child with. So all of those things are things to negotiate. And so you can get on the same page when they're polarizing issues like this. So I'm not, like I said, I think this is kind of getting a lot of attention because of who the players are, but the substance of it isn't really novel.
Got it. Okay.
And I don't think anything came out that said that this is what she wants to do with her child. All she said is, I've made some statements in the past that were maybe insensitive, and I am going to be more sensitive towards that going forward. What does that have to do with? That's like, it makes no sense.
Well, compared to what his statements are, I think it's showing more support to the community, the transgender community, where he is totally against it. Look, he just pushed one daughter that transitioned out of the family will. She's not getting any more financial support. He's not putting her in the will because she's transgender. All right, what were you going to say, Attorney Carter?
That I don't think this had anything to do with anybody but Donald Trump. I think that was a tweet to him to basically say, hey, Donald, I'm back all right, on the MAGA side, and let me get my contracts back. And quite frankly, because I can tell you this, he don't want that baby. As a matter of fact, if I was her lawyer, I'd say, you don't give him the baby. Let him see what he does. He'd be so mad. Think about the 6-year-old was whooping his ass. What would the little baby do to him? All right, he don't want that baby at all. He just wanted to sort of flex his Andrew Tate muscles, so to speak, to get his dude bros back. And I would call his bluff. Let him.
Very good, counselors. Really quickly, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is Elon's full custody case as described, and what do you predict the judge is more likely to do? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Negative 38.675.
All right, Turner.
It's weak.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
Negative 38.675.
All right, so we don't look like it's going to have any effect at all. All right, stay with me, because from custody court, we're going straight to the federal court, where a defendant didn't even show up, so the judge dropped a financial nuke. How could you not show up? My goodness. Atlanta rapper Cash Out, known as John Michael Gibson, has been ordered to pay $40 million in a federal civil sex trafficking lawsuit. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the judge entered a default judgment after Gibson failed to respond or defend against the suit. The award includes $10 million in compensatory, which I need to know once again what that is, and $30 million in punitive charges. How in the hell do they come up with these numbers? And remember, this is a civil case where it also sits in the shadow of his prior criminal conviction in Georgia for serious offenses, including sex trafficking and racketeering, per AGC's reporting. All right, I want us to break down what exactly is compensatory again, what is punitive, but also default judgment means that the court didn't weigh both sides because only one side showed up. Let's go to you, Attorney Weiss. Explain to me again what a default judgment, like I'm a jury member, like you're talking to the jury here, and what has to happen procedurally for a federal judge to say you didn't answer, so you lose.
So in federal court, in most jurisdictions, you have 20 days or 21 days to respond to the complaint to show up. You don't do it, you don't have the complaint, you file what's called a motion for a clerk's default. The clerk will look, say no one showed up, rubber stamp it. You then apply to the court and you say to the court, I served them, I got everything done right, I checked all the boxes, I dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and here are my damages. Sometimes the court will say, sure, no problem, push it through. Sometimes the court will say, great, I want a quick hearing, I want you to explain to me why you should get damages in what amount. The court hears you out, no one's there to object, the court follows the law, and boom, enters it. I won't touch on the compensatory and punitive. I'll let one of the other attorneys handle that for you.
All right, Alfred Singh says, did he actually receive the service? Because I've been out of the country and some service claimed to serve me. Meanwhile, it was a man in description. And then Nisha Phillips says, isn't he locked up? And Daniel Cameron said, I didn't even know this rapper. Does he even have 2 cents to rub together? He was actually pretty popular. Let's go to you, Attorney Carter. Explain to me compensatory versus punitive and what's the legal purpose of each.
All right. So the purpose of compensatory damages is to compensate you, to put you back to where you were. So if you lost wages, you lost income, you lost you had medical expenses, compensatory damages pays for that. Punitive is basically what your mama does when she say, oh, no, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. All right. And that's when you want to punish the person to make sure they don't pull that nonsense again. And so in this case, right, it was what, 10 million in compensatory damages and 30 in punitive, because what he did was really bad. And let's be clear, he is now, the reason he didn't answer this lawsuit, I imagine, is because he's serving life plus 70 years, right? So even after he did, he got to do another 70. All right. This brother is under the jail. And so what he got charged with is he was running a sex trafficking ring where he used his record label, bring women in, say, oh, you want to get rap, you want to get a career, and then he end up, trafficking them. Horrible stuff, violence, all kinds of things like that. And so as a result of that, the 30 million or the 40 million in total seems he got off light because what he did was some real foul stuff.
Right. So how does that happen? How can you be in prison and not show up for your court case? Did he elect not to do that? Did his lawyers elect not to represent him? How does that happen? Anybody?
I mean, he has the opportunity to go ahead and get into court. Maybe they didn't serve it right. He can always file a motion to vacate the default judgment. But if I'm him and you're serving life plus 70, what's the point? You got no money. Your assets are going to be frozen anyway. So you might as well just sit there and, maybe if he's working in the, if he's working in the laundry or something like that, maybe they'll grab the $7 a week that he makes.
All right, Attorney Carter. Colette Davis says your hair looks nice tonight. Brenda K says, I guess he figured why bother. I guess that's true too. All right, let's close this out. Attorney Turner, let's talk real life collections. A $40 million judgment on paper, like he's in prison forever. He's never getting out. How do they get paid?
Well, to that point, just the whole process thing, I was going to say it's unlikely that he got served properly, because one thing that people who are in prison, especially when you're in life plus 70, like to do is go to court because it's a break from the regular routine. So I think that he just didn't get served, because that is better than being behind bars at the time. There are judgments that get issued that are not collectible, right? They just are. And so they calculate the amount of the compensatory and the punitive damages, as Attorney Carter indicated, but they don't necessarily indicate the likelihood of collecting. So collecting is a different process. I'm not sure whether he has other assets that might be used, because he may have put some of his assets in trust for family members so that they would be taken care of, although a lot of them were caught up in the same criminal sex trafficking ring. So who knows who's out there and what they need. But it's going to be a challenge. It's probably a paper victory, and
more than anything else. All right, counselors. Okay, counselors. One sentence. Tell me if you think the judgment is, what's the likelihood for the judgment to be paid or for it to stand? Attorney Carter, what say you?
About as likely as the Steelers going to win the Super Bowl anytime soon.
Attorney Weiss?
What was that? Negative 36.87. No, the likelihood of it staying, I'd say, is about 90%. The likelihood of it being collected, 0.
All right, Attorney Turner.
About as likely as I'm going to slap Attorney Carter the next time.
That's 100%. That's 100%, girl.
About my Steelers. I would want to do it in my heart, but I'm nonviolent.
Don't sound nonviolent to me. All right, before we move on and shift from civil court, if you're watching the show and you're enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite some folks over to learn about the law on the back of these celebrities. Also, don't forget to turn on your notification. And as always, we completely love the family that we're creating in the comments and in the chat. Keep it coming and keep the questions and keep the dialogue going, because we really love it. All right, so now let's shift from civil court to a criminal warrant. Woo! And this one is horrible, where the stakes are freedom, reputation, and the safety of children. Don't mess with kids. All right. So in this one, let's be careful and let's be factual. Okay. Next up, we have actor and director Timothy Busfield, known for The West Wing, and he's facing an arrest warrant issued by Albuquerque police over alleged child sexual abuse involving 2, not 1, but 2 11-year-old boys, according to People. Now, People reports authorities allege grooming as well as unlawful sexual conduct, and that Busfield denies the allegations. They also report that the U.S. Marshals are assisting in the search, and we have found out recently, within the last 2 hours, he has turned himself in. I'm going to say this clearly. These are allegations. A warrant is not a conviction, but a warrant is not nothing as well. All right. So this is what we know, counselors. A warrant means a judge found probable cause enough to arrest and bring someone before the court. But this is what I have as for you to answer, Attorney Carter. What does it take to get an arrest warrant in a case like this? Like, what I mean is, what kind of evidence typically support probable cause? Or do you just find out something, someone calls in, 2 people call in, a lawyer calls a judge and say, hey, I need a warrant? How does this work?
So normally you're going to need a little more than a single allegation. You'd want to have some kind of corroborating evidence. So I say this happened, and I've got a text message or a videotape or etc. Here, by the way, before they issued the arrest warrant, they actually interviewed Busfield and the kids, and they talked to Busfield about it. And they said, did you touch these kids? He said, I might have. I like to touch all the kids. And here's things. He didn't say. He said it was not inappropriate. But he said, I'm a big, I'm Uncle Tim. And the kids call me Uncle Tim. And I was, holding the kids around and carrying around. By the way, these were 11-year-olds. All right. You don't carry around an 11-year-old. And the worst part is, and I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying he did anything incorrect here, but I am saying in 94, he was charged and was sued for assault against a 17-year-old. Oh. And he did not. We don't know what happened, but we know that he settled the case out of court. And what gets me about this whole case and why I'm not so benefit of the doubt here is because if I had any accusations ever about any children, I wouldn't be around any kids. I'm gonna tell you now, I don't even tickle my own kids. All right. And no kids, I don't. All right. I'm not tickling kids. And certainly your kids, they're gonna call me Mr. Carter, not Uncle Sean. And because you know why? Because my mama taught me. All right. I'm not one of their little friends. All right. I'm not playing that. All right. I'm not having. So the fact that he wanted to be so buddy with them, got Melissa Gilbert, Laura Ingalls from the Little House on the Prairie. Now they got her wrapped up in this. She buying gifts for the kids, looking like she grooming them. If you have this type of history, bro, you need to stay away from the children.
No, that's his wife. Okay. Alfred Singh says, ugh, disgusting. Colette Davis says, pervert. Bro Reeler says, sick of Hollywooders. Aren't they weird? It's just so weird. Danielle Cameron, Shaitan, I'm going to throw this question to you. Danielle Cameron says, why run if you did nothing?
It's hard to judge, but running makes you look guilty. So whatever his motivation was, it was a mistake, right? His lawyer indicates that they were trying to get them to take the warrant down, and so he could just voluntarily present himself. And so that's why he didn't come in pursuant to the warrant. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
All right. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. But okay, Jason, let's close this out with how does the law treat child testimony? Because I thought, are they allowed to? They don't testify in court, do they? They can. Okay. They can. So what are the rules around corroboration and interviews and protecting minors while they're preserving a defendant's due process? Because I know you can't show their face, right? And you can't mention their names. What are the rules?
It'll be like, with a blurb or recorded testimony, and they'll call them, minor 7, something like that, or minor 11. But you look, it all has to do with credibility, and it all has to do with the capacity. So an 11-year-old has the capacity to say what's right and what's wrong. Did he touch you? Yes. Did he touch you on your shoulder? Yes. Did he touch you in your privates? I don't know the answer, but that is the types of things that they could ask. Did he kiss you? You can ask those questions, especially an 11-year-old. A 4-year-old, probably not going to know. A 17-year-old is probably going to know. So it all has to do with the competency of the child, knowing what's right and wrong, and just being able to state what happened.
Okay, got it. All right, so there's no releasing of their name or anything, so we don't have to worry about the kids or the family being exposed in this case, right?
No. Correct. Now, the kid will be minor 11 would be my guess, something like that.
Does he know, though? Does he know who's bringing the charges against him? Will he be made aware? Will he know their names?
Yes, because they've identified the kids to him already. So we don't know who they are, but they were 2 children that were on the set of one of his shows. And interestingly enough, one of them has said the touching started at 7, and they have indicated that their intimate private parts were touched. So this is as bad as it can get. So I don't know why he's copying to people calling him Uncle Tim, because it sounds like he's the creepy uncle that was doing stuff, and people were like, don't sit on his lap. So I feel really bad that Melissa Gilbert is caught up in it, because I love Little House on the Prairie, and she's made her whole reputation on purity and family. And now it's all going down the toilet because of this.
Wow. Ooh. I just, this is the part where I know I could not be a legal judge, because anytime you abuse kids and you abuse animals and you abuse elderly, I want you to go straight to jail. I'm sorry, due process. I don't know how fair. I don't even know if I would be listening to it when the lawyers are arguing. I just would think, if I felt like they did, especially against 7 years, that's 5 years of fondling and sexually abusing somebody, he should be put underneath the jail. Underneath the jail. All right, counselors, what do y'all think? Is it not looking good for him? Is he guilty or not guilty? What are the odds here that we're looking at some type of trial, or we're looking at some type of guilty verdict? Attorney Carter?
It's way more than negative pi. It's pretty substantial. I can't say that he's going to be necessarily a verdict, because he has due process. The kids people don't always, their stories don't always come out so clearly. Maybe they get him to plead to something, but I got to tell you, he needs to stay away from the children. That's all I got to say.
Right. Attorney Turner?
I agree with Attorney Carter. And this is the point that Megyn Kelly got into so much trouble a few weeks ago when she was talking about the Epstein case, that there is a difference between post-pubescent children and prepubescent children. So the fact that this is talking about a 7-year-old, it evokes a certain image in a juror's mind that I don't think that he's going to allow this to go to trial if they have credible evidence.
Yeah. All right, Attorney Weiss, what are your thoughts?
It is not looking good for him, and unless something comes out to attack the credibility, he needs to settle this quickly. His reputation is already harmed, and it's not going to get any better.
Oh, gosh. Jesus. This just does not feel right. All right, let's take a deep breath. I don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. Public opinion, ooh, I don't like it. All right, from criminal warrants to civil money, because our last case is about what happens when you ignore a lawsuit and wake up on hundreds of thousands. Yes, you heard me correctly. Our final case tonight involves Christian Gold, publicly known as the husband of Basketball Wives star Jennifer Williams. Now, here's the important part. Jennifer is not named yet as a defendant in the circulated materials. Now, the story is being shared widely on social media with what's described as court records showing a default judgment of nearly $400,000. And the $400,000 is over an alleged investment misconduct. Now, this is the funny part. The misconduct is that there are claims that he solicited funds for an investment opportunity, but never invested the money. And even worse, he never returned it. Now, I want to be responsible with this. I'm treating the judgment details as reported via social media, unless and until we have a mainstream legal outlet verifying the docket independently. Bailiff, let's take it away let's hear what one of our former legal beagles has to say about this case.
Bessie attorney Simone. It was all about Jennifer Williams, Christian Gold, and the $400,000 that a court just ordered for him to pay for scamming people. Jennifer, these victims got you against the ropes, Bookie. It was for fraud. You can't get rid of a fraud judgment in bankruptcy. This judgment was acquired during the marriage. It was a debt of the marriage. So if she did not have her postnup, then any debts accumulated during the marriage are half Jennifer Williams. So this $400,000 owed is half Jennifer's. Also, the victims are able to intervene in her divorce and demand that any divorce court order and confirm exactly how much of this is liable by Jennifer and how much by Christian. And the thing is, until then, Jennifer can't buy anything that requires a mortgage or financing. She can't even refinance the townhouse she already owns till this judgment is paid.
I need, hold on one second, please. I need to know, let's go to some of the comments real quick. Daniel Cameron says, Attorney Simone tried to warn her. She did on this show. She tried to warn her, and Jen didn't want to listen. She better ask about how to do food stamps, etc. All we knew, Lord, let me read. NY Marie says, we all knew he was a scammer. Afra sings, unless the divorce was a result of discovering his fraud and theft of misuse of non-common assets, right? JP Mills says, Jen is not the brightest bulb in the box. She was warned. Sandra McGee, y'all stop talking about my old friend like that. Sandra McGee says, Attorney Simone is my girl, H-Town girl. Brenda K says he has no money. She will make more. She will more than likely pay it for him. Dude doesn't have 4 cents. Why do these women get involved with these fools? Charlene Lambert said that's Jennifer's debt. All right, lawyers, is what Attorney Simone Redwine reported true? Is it 100% true, or are we not sure? Let's go to you first, Attorney Turner.
I'm not sure. I love Simone, and she may have more background on this than I do because she knows these people personally. However, based on what I could tell, it wasn't clear to me that this was his personal debt and not his business debt. And if it's his business debt, then it's not as clearly going to attach to Jennifer as she indicated.
All right, Attorney Jason Weiss, you have some intel you want to share with us. Can you give us a little bit more background? Is this true or not true? Because if it is true, that lady just has a string of bad luck when it comes to her spouse as well as her fiancés. Remember, she was engaged to Sweetie Pie's son, who is now in jail for trying to get someone unalived.
So I will say this for anybody that's planning to get married, you should rewatch what Attorney Redwine said, because that'll scare the crap out of everybody to go ahead and get a prenup. So that's good. But here's the thing, right? Just because it was accumulated during the course of the marriage does not immediately mean that it ties to her. Yes, if she goes ahead and tries to refi a property, they're going to pull that up. They're going to see it. Yes, there are certain things that it's going to come up flagged, but it's not automatically because they're getting divorced. Oh, you're responsible for half of it. That's not how it works.
Got it. All right, Attorney Carter, anything you want to add to this assumption, or what are your thoughts about this case just in general? How do you expect to get away with taking people's money for investment purposes and never investing it?
Bernie Madoff got away by what, $11 billion? All right, that's a good strategy. He just was the wrong, complexion for the protection. But also, the bottom line is simply this: I don't know. I think some of you know Jennifer personally. I think Simone does. So maybe you could tell her she needs to. I don't know how to say this, but she needs to get a Subaru and go gay. I said, no more men for you, girl. You don't know how to pick them. All right,
and stay away from Elon.
Attorney Carter, apparently the Subaru is the calling card for lesbians. Yes, there's a certain haircut.
Oh my goodness, counselors, we are not saying that on. Attorney Turner, are you saying that if you drive a Subaru, you are a lesbian?
No,
what I'm saying is, just like you asked us the likelihood of the verdicts, that the likelihood that the woman drives a Subaru is quite high. But going back to Jennifer, though, I mean, okay. Simone is right. We did it on this show together. We all predicted that this marriage wasn't going to last, and that the only reason she was proceeding is because they were going to France and they had all those deals booked, and that's why she married him in the first place. It hasn't been that long. She knew that he was shady. I mean, he is fine, and so I get the attraction, but all of us algoriters who love fine men, we might just need to have a readjustment and start looking at character, because everybody's getting caught up and having to pay bills.
I think maybe you should. Okay. All right. Let's go to Caramel. 1977 Cancer said, when y'all gonna see Jennifer as part of these frauds? Mm-hmm. She keeps getting caught up in with these criminals. It's as clear as that big ass knot on her ex-husband. You know what y'all be doing in the chat. Oh my goodness. JP Mills said he had his nephew unalived. Yeah, that was so bad what that guy did. All right, Afra scenes, especially if her discovery of his fraud or misuse of non-marital funds were part of the cause of the divorce. She might be better off with annulment than divorce. Can you get an annulment if you've consummated the marriage? Oh, yeah, if the person represented themselves in a fraudulent way, right?
Yeah, and even then, it's almost weird.
Okay. Sandra McGee says, according to the victims, she was on there with him marketing his business. What? I did not hear that. Val Rice says she married a liability. Bro Rilla said they do like the Subaru. Bro Rilla, I'm holding you in contempt, Bro Rilla. Don't you dare. Afro Sting says, what about a Volkswagen? Oh my God, y'all as worse as they
Gotta
are.
be a Subaru.
Brenda K says they do it every day on Capitol Hill. Give me my money back. Rizlan 11 says she needs to pull a Porsche. Ooh. Are you saying Rizlan go gay? That's what
Aaron single.
NY Marie says Sean is too funny. All right. And then No Joy here. Remember, she knows because she said she saw his number. All right. Val Rice said she was married to Tim. Didn't know that. No, she wasn't married to Tim. She was engaged to Tim. I don't think they were married. You guys, if somebody else knows anything more, I don't think they were married. I think they were engaged.
I hope this isn't my Renee Carter who wrote Lesbaru.
Funny too.
It is.
Who wrote Lesbaru? I didn't see that one. Who wrote Lesbaru?
That's my wife.
Your wife? Your
Yeah.
wife? Oh my goodness, the whole family.
Baby, you better not be. I better not catch you on the Subaru website. That's all I know. All right, I better catch you.
All right.
Carvana's delivering one as you speak, Sean.
Attorneys. We have 3 minutes. Attorneys, really quickly, what are your thoughts? Is Christian Gold guilty or not guilty?
He's guilty.
Guilty, Attorney Carter?
He guilty of not having no shirt with buttons. You saw the last shirt was all down to here. He guilty of everything.
Attorney Turner?
He's innocent in terms of enlightening us all about how we need to live right. Like Afra Singh says, they got to be fine, have good character, a huge heart, and a healthy wallet. So,
all right, let's watch our time. Verdicts. This is the viewer verdict segment. We don't forget we need 5 guilties or 5 not guilty threshold. All right, jury, everybody in the chat, get ready, please. Everybody get ready. All right, jury. This is where you run the courtroom. In the chat, we're going to vote case by case. Type guilty or not guilty for the court of public opinion, and it rules. And here's how we do it tonight. We don't move on until we have either 5 guilty votes or 5 not guilty votes for each. All right, first up, Elon versus St. Clair. Is St. Clair guilty or not guilty for parting or being empathetic to the trans community? Drop down into the chat. Is she guilty or not guilty? Is she guilty or not guilty for supporting the trans community? Drop down into the chat, please. I need everybody to jump down into the chat. Is St. Clair guilty or not guilty? She's not guilty. All right, 1 not guilty, 2 not guilty. She's not guilty. 3 not guilty. 4, 5 not guilty. In the court of public opinion, I'm Al. I'm the judge, and we're going to find St. Clair not guilty as charged. Next up, Cash Out. Is he guilty or not guilty for the default? Is he guilty or not guilty for not answering the default? Drop down in the chat starting right now. Is he guilty or not guilty? Cash Out. Is he guilty or not guilty? Please jump down in the chat. Not guilty, Deliria Washington says. Not guilty, New York Marie says. Not, guilty. Editor said he's guilty. Deliria Washington says guilty. 2 guilties. MM says guilty. That's 3 guilties. Tracy Odom says guilty. That's 4. We need 1 more guilty. He's guilty. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to find Cash Money. Guilty as charged. Next up is Busfield. Guilty or not guilty for messing with those little boys? Drop down in the chat. Is he guilty or not guilty for messing with those little boys? Drop down in the chat. Is he guilty or not guilty for messing with those little boys? Please. Sandra McGee says guilty. Charlene Lambert says guilty. That's 2. Improper service offer sings no. It's guilty. All right. Dominic Starr says guilty. That's 3. Guilty 4. One more guilty. He's guilty and looks dirty. Yes, Al Reynolds, public opinion, and we're going to find Busfield guilty. Guilty is charged. Last but not least, is Christian Gold guilty or not guilty for stealing those people's money? Is Christian Gold guilty or not guilty for stealing those people's money? Drop down in the chat. Is he guilty or not guilty for stealing those people's money? Guilty. Nisha Phillips, guilty. Who else? Guilty, guilty, guilty. Charmaine Lambert, guilty. Colette Davis says guilty. Two more. Is Christian guilty? Guilty. One more guilty. Is he guilty or not guilty? Guilty. Christian Gold is guilty. Guilty as charged for stealing those people's money. All right, everybody. Tonight we learned something simple. Family court is about a child, but public court is about power. Civil court can hand you a judgment so big it sounds unreal, especially when someone doesn't show up. A warrant is not a conviction, but it is the system saying, hey, we're not guessing anymore. And a default judgment is what happens when you treat the court like it's optional. In real court, you're innocent until proven guilty. But in this court, your choices speak so loud, the culture hears them first, and we've made our decision. I'm Judge Al Reynolds, and this is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop down in the chat the next case that you would like to see on the docket on Thursday. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight, and court is now adjourned.